Hey Ivan, I just want to talk a little bit about this here. So the intent of UV texels. So when you mention texels, what that actually means is it's the relation between how many pixels this piece here is going to take up and how many pixels this thing up here is going to take. Now what you want to avoid is you want to avoid the checker pattern on the top here, the squares that are showing up on the checker pattern from being any larger or any smaller than the ones on the other side here. The reason for this is if you're painting a texture map here, and let's just say that these squares are, they look really close, but let's just pretend these squares were twice as small. The detail that you paint on here is going to look a lot more crisp than the detail that you paint on the side here. Now, if you were to pick up an object and the side of it had blurry textures and the top of it had really sharp, crisp textures, well, that's not something that you'd like. And that's something that you're actively trying to avoid. So that's what texel density means. It's you're trying to ensure that there's the same stretchiness of the fabric is set as like on the top as it is on the side. You don't want a disconnect in terms of how crisp something looks on one side versus the other side. So that's specifically the word texel density. That's the 3D relation to the 2D pixels that are going to be applied to these pieces of mesh. Um, the other thing you were saying, like you were laying them out like linear, like flattening them out and making sure that they were parametrically unfolded. Or so you can see this top part here, perfect. That looks great. This bottom part here, I see you have a cut here, so I'm assuming that before you were laying these out sideways as well. That is a totally viable way to unwrap these things. I like to unwrap them into rectangles because I find it's easier to pack rectangles. When you have circles, you kind of have like wasted space here, 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 and here. But in this case, that's not really that much. And if it helps you speed up your process, it's totally fine to leave this as like a circular cap. Like you could weld that at that edge right there, and you'd get very nice results either way. So when you're laying those things out flat, and like if you were to take this circle and lay it out like a strip, like you've done up here, that's just for me, it's a preference thing. Like I'm gonna leave it up to you. Like you can choose to try it as a circle from the top down, just weld that one thing, or you can lay it out flat. If you ever do run into an issue where like if you did lay it out flat, you might be seeing a little bit of stretching around this hole here, but a little bit of and then a little bit of pinching around this side here. So I think it'd be like red around here and blue around here. Whereas if you just kept it as a circle, you wouldn't have, like, everything would be white. Like you wouldn't have any distortion whatsoever. Um, it's kind of difficult for me to say one way is better than another. The only time you can really chime in on which way is better is by looking at both and seeing which one has less stretching and less seams. Like that's the real goal here for unfolding things. It's get rid of stretching and get rid of seams. The least seams you can have, because anytime in texturing, if you're going to run into a problem, it's going to be on a seam or there's going to be some stretching involved. So those are the two things that you're really battling here. Everything else, in terms of laying it out flat, like that, again, that's a preference choice. Like I actually like, packing things in a rectangular fashion. It just kind of fits better. So playing Tetris, kind of, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to keep going through your videos and we'll keep taking a look at this. Okay, thanks.